So let's now we have the capability of changing the size of the heading dynamically. Let's work on maybe perhaps being able to change the text on the fly, right? So that I can see what it looks like, what the preview might look like, right? So let's add an input field here right before the select statement, maybe up here, and this again, as it changes. I like to notify the state notifies me, and the text changes on the fly, right, as I change it. So what we could do here is that we can say that grab a ref on this, and this will be the input field. So let's create a local variable, and this will be the input element, and bind it there, right? After this, you'll have a lot of practice on binding to native elements. So input elem is equal to node, and if it changes, I want to notify the reducer. I'm going to say on change. I'm going to notify based on a function that you're going to pass me called heading. Text changed, right? And I need to pass you what the widget ID is and what the input element value is. I'll pass you that, right? So basically, I'm doing exactly the same thing we did with select, right? So we're just practicing to do that again, right? So where does this function come? It's being passed to me as a property, right? And who passed it to me? In the mapping function. In the mapping function, right? The widget size and the text are going to be passed from the component. It's going to be passed here, so it's going to be the widget ID and the new text, and it's going to call a dispatcher, an actions dispatcher, which doesn't exist yet, and I'm going to pass it the dispatch function, the widget ID, and the new text, and comma. Right. So on the actions, you can both go to the actions and pretty much copy this over here, right? It's almost the same verbatim, but this is going to be text, right? So the text changed, and we're not going to new size by new text. I'm going to pass that along to the reducer with a new constant. So heading text change. So we'll need to declare that in the constant. Right, so once you have these, all the plumbing done, right, you can get into a cadence, right, of just repeating and practicing doing the same thing. All right, so that's being notifying the reducer. Oops, something's wrong with the constants. Oh. We can go to the reducer. The reducer is patiently waiting for our change. So it says case dot constants. So actually we can just copy this almost verbatim. So this is where it would come very handy, where you grab not just one individual element, but we can just pass an entire form, right? So this is text change, and this is the text, and this is the text here. I'm going to set it, assign it, and change it. All right, let's see. The widget, we're using the text anywhere. I don't believe we're using the text anywhere. So I guess we could just use it here, right? We can just say this would be the widget.text would be rendered right here. Right? So that didn't work. Did it complain? Am I getting any errors? I did not get any errors. Am I getting to the, let's see, let's step through this. Let's look at the reducer. Am I even getting here? Let's see. Okay, so we're getting there. Let's see. Do we have action ID? We do. Do we have the text? Ooh, text is undefined. So somehow we're not passing the text along.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh, the typical copy paste error. So this is new text. Oh, size. Thank you. Text. Okay, so notice that I can change the information on the fly, and also change the size on the fly as well. Okay, and ideally I should be able to also save this. Let's see in the database what happened if we refresh. Okay, looks like the garble thing is working, right? And so if I refresh. The text's not there. All right, so we need to see what's going on there. Why when it comes back from the server? Oh, actually, yes, it is. It's down here, but it's because right, the ordering is not right. Although is this being? Let's see. Is that working? If I save the size, if I refresh, okay, notice that the size is not being rendered, right? So probably because we didn't map the value of the dropdown. So this dropdown, right? We should bind it, right? Its value. It should grab it from the widget ID, from the widget size, right? So if it's 1 or 2 or 3, right? It should update that. How about the input field? The input field also should kind of give you whatever text it had in the database, right? So you can edit it, right on the spot. So you can also grab the value from the widget object that it passes it, right? So widget text, so that if it renders, notice that now the text is there, so I can edit it, and notice that it remembers that it's heading 3. Right? We grabbed it from the database now. All right. So excellent, yeah. So probably we want to also when we add a new widget, all these values should have some default values, right? Otherwise, if I add a brand new heading, right, the heading the size will be empty, the text will be empty, right? So probably we want to in the reducer when we add a new widget, we might want to add a couple of well, at least we have a default value for the text, right? Ideally, I also would have default values for the size, right? So maybe size 2 is a default for brand new widgets, right? So if we delete all these widgets, just to make sure we don't have any lingering changes in the schema, we can. Oh, did I not save? Save. Refresh. Okay, they're all gone. So yeah, so these are all paragraphs, and if we have we change these both to heading. Notice that the default is heading 2, and there has a default new widget, right? So we can change this to 1, 2, 3, and this is to 2, 3, 4, just to keep track of these. We save. Let's see if the database is updated. Okay, we have those, both size 2. Maybe we'll change 1 just to make sure. Well, actually, let's change this to heading 1. All right, let's save. If we refresh, 1, 2, 3 is still heading 1, and 2, 3, 4 is still heading 2. So everything is being saved correctly. Right? All right, excellent. So let's keep going. How about being able to preview, right, and see how this would look like from someone who wants to see how the end user is going to look at this. All right, so let's take a look at that next.